Hello and welcome back to the channel. This video was recorded live on YouTube, Kick, and Twitch. Hope you enjoy. Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today we've got a video from the background NPC, and yeah, let's see what she's talking about. She's saying, when will they finally learn? So yeah, let's check what she's going on about.
The very first video I ever posted on this channel was called "The Problem with Women in Games and Why It's Killing Hype." Over the last year, we have come back to this topic several times and I have expanded on my thoughts, but you know, a very small optimistic part of me was kind of hoping that by now it would begin to fade into obscurity, become a distant memory. Well, if last week has shown us anything, unfortunately, that is not the case. But before
No, it's not. They don't know how to make female characters in Western countries. So yeah, this is what this is about. This is about females in games. Well, female characters in games.
Before we get into all of that, there actually was a ton that happened this past week. We saw lots of updates.
There was so much good fucking shit that came out of the showcases not last week, the week before last week, if I remember correctly.
News, reveals, and there is so much that I am excited about. First being Jeff Keighley's High Guard redemption.
I was about to say, saying positive things about Lo-Fi? That doesn't sound right. But yeah.
Dark, which even though the feed was stutter maxing almost the entire live stream, he got off to a great start by completely mogging both the State of Play and Xbox Showcase. Summer Game Fest opened up on Resident Evil Veronica, which is very exciting. I cannot wait.
I never really cared for the Resident Evil games. I know they're good. I just never really cared to play them.
Wait for this remake. You guys probably know if I had to pick a AAA dev that I think is really crushing it right now, it would be Capcom. They have been.
The thing is, I would agree for the most part. I just hope they fix the bad performance from their PC games, because like the way they released Monster Hunter Wilds was not acceptable.
Been on such a roll lately. We saw the reveal for Final Fantasy VII Revelation, the third and final part of the remake trilogy.
I heard about that. I saw this, yeah. I also saw some people complaining that this isn't coming to PS4 when the first two parts came to PS4, and apparently they promised that all three would be on PS4. So that was pretty shitty for a lot of people.
And learned that the lovely Tifa is joining Street Fighter.
Yep.
Monster Hunter Wilds is getting its big expansion.
This is my one issue. If they have not fixed Monster Hunter Wilds yet, and they're releasing the expansion, it's going to piss me off. So I do want to play Wilds at some point. I just hope it's fixed.
Power World is finally hitting one.
Can't fucking wait. We already have plans to play this day one as it releases.
0.0 on July 10th, and I just know Nintendo was coping hard watching Jeff in the audience hype it up so much. The Blood of Dawnwalker, the vampire RPG
Can't wait.
from the X-Witcher crew is coming this September, along with any other game that has apparently ever been made, but it looks great. On Amusha, we have the sword showed up at State of...
Okay, I have to mention, on Amusha, when I first saw this at the showcases, the original one and the new one, I did not care for it. It looked slow, it looked clunky, and it did not look good. I have since played the demo, and I'm extremely hyped for this game now. I can't wait. I will be getting this. If I can, I will definitely be getting this and playing it on stream.
I played through the demo and I enjoyed it, although Capcom, I do have to ask, what are we doing with that chatty inanimate gauntlet?
I don't care about that.
I'm a little nervous.
It doesn't sound like it's modern day Western writing with the chatty gauntlet, so I don't really mind it.
A very quick aside here, this actually reminds
me. Another 200 hours are going into Power World. 100%.
One of my minor complaints about Pragmata, even though I love the game,
still need to play it.
Diana did not give you a moment of silence. Stellar Blade Blood Rain was announced, and I am...
Can't wait. I still need to play the first one.
I'm very excited for this, and of course, we will be coming back to Eevee in just a bit. Mortal Shell 2 beta is out. I'm playing through...
I played the beta for this. I loved it. I did not like the first Mortal Shell, but Mortal Shell 2 is a lot of fun.
Now, it's pretty impressive so far. Alien Isolation 2 is finally happening.
I don't care for Alien Isolation, and they left. Yeah, so yep.
12 years
yeah. I'm so glad they left Sony, because Sony like tried to censor the hell out of the game when it first came out. So
later, and it looks incredible. Will IGN give this game another 6? Only time will tell. We got another look at Beast of Reincarnation from Game.
Another game I can't wait for, and I'm so glad Game Freak's actually not making Pokemon games only anymore. So they can actually make good games now.
Freak, yes, the Pokemon Studio. You'll play as Emma, so I'm very
Yep,
excited to
can't wait for
introduce
that.
her and her wolf companion named Ku this August. Xbox did a whole deep dive on Gears of War E-Day, which is
Okay, Gears of War. There is a lot of contention that I've seen go around for Gears of War E-Day. I can't wait. I grew up on sorry. I grew up on Gears of War. I will be playing this game. Definitely, I will 100% be playing this game, regardless of the ugly buff chick in the main party. I'm looking past that because of how much I love Gears of War.
an Xbox exclusive, but it is still coming to PC. We got a brand new Spyro in the works. There is the
I
remake
don't
of
care.
Halo 1 coming, and
Don't care for that either.
Persona 6
And I don't care for
was
Persona.
officially announced, along with a reveal of Persona 4 Revival. We saw more of
I repeat.
Fable, which I didn't even
Not hyped for this at all.
realize was Fable for like the first half of the trailer, but the more I see of this game, the less excited I am for it.
Yeah, okay. She has the same thought that I have.
I'm so sorry. In my opinion, it is just feeling more and more like a generic Western fantasy slop. To be fair, though, I do think what we saw of Haley Atwell's performance as Isabel was really good. And
No, she looks fine.
while I personally feel
Everyone else does not.
she actually looks a bit closer to her normal self and better than literally any other character that we saw in that whole trailer, Western devs just cannot help themselves. It is actually crazy to see how they keep failing these beautiful Hollywood actresses, which, speaking of, it is not anything new, and definitely not new to the Fable franchise, but AAA continually hiring these big Hollywood actors for these massive projects cannot be cheap in an industry that is actively struggling.
I 100% agree, and in my opinion, they should stop hiring actresses and actors entirely and actually stop making new characters and start being actually creative with their characters and stop relying on actors and actresses for their models.
And raising costs on everything. I legitimately cannot believe Jack Quaid was actually used to mocap or block for the cube in God of War. Why didn't they just have someone else stand in for that? Why does that character exist
That's
in the
stupid.
first place? I don't know, but like I said at the start, this week has been a lot. But the one announcement that we just have to talk about right off the bat is, of course,
Also, maybe get rid of HR department 100%. I just realized that I am blocking very often. When she's talking, she is in the bottom corner where my model is. So I'm just going to quickly move myself over to the other side because I'm blocking her. So there we go.
State of Play's big reveal, God of War Laufey. The
No one cares for this.
new mainline God of War game confirmed by Sony themselves that does not feature the God of War. And I knew as soon as this game was revealed, any
God of Laundry.
feedback or criticism surrounding the creative decisions, the sidelining of Kratos in his own franchise was
Like, most people would have not cared for this game regardless, just because there's no Kratos in a God of War game. But I can see people would have been less strict and less hard on this game if they actually made the actress look like her actual self, instead of aging her up 50 years and making her look like that. And also get rid of the stupid, annoying talking gauntlet or talking sword ribbon thing that just sounds like the thing from fucking Forspoken. Because that actually sounds like shit.
Immediately going to be overtaken by the Gamers Hate Women crowd, and it has been very interesting to see how it has evolved from you're sexist, you're just a gooner chud, to, you know what, if you'd rather play as Kratos in your God of War game, you're actually just gay.
I saw that. That's so stupid.
Discourse is basically a hydra at this point. Each time you chop off one Gamers Hate female character's accusation, 3 more grow back to take its place. And this gets us back around to the very start of this video, this ongoing pattern of female characters in games and how they are continuing to be misrepresented and treated in the West, most notably by AAA, and I'm tired, boss. First off, Sony was out here hyping up this state of play like crazy. We had a very early countdown, lots of industry buzz about it. They even brought it back to select movie theaters for the very first time since 2018. Even I was getting super curious about what was about to be revealed, but after they opened with Wolverine, my brain went 2 directions.
Oh yeah, I forgot that. I had that at the showcase as well. Another game I have no interest in.
The first being, no way. Are they actually the ones to get to show off more GTA 6? And the other
That's another game I also have no interest in.
being, oh, we're about to get more intergalactic, aren't we?
I'm glad they never showed any intergalactic at the showcase, to be completely honest. Hopefully they keep pushing this game back until it gets cancelled.
Imagine my surprise, though, when it ended with God of War Laundry. After
Oh, fuck.
the 20-minute reveal, within a few minutes, my whole feed was talking about it. Hot takes, memes, defenses of the defenses, people splitting into different camps, fans saying it is not a God of War game without Kratos. Why would we want to play as his 45-year-old dead wife? Other fans who are excited about it, and some people who just really hate the cube. However you dice it, though, the backlash was
All of those arguments are valid.
real and pretty significant, and the fast reaction from Santa Monica on everything was pretty telling. Pretty quickly after,
I'm surprised it got that much of a upvote to downvote disparity. Like, I expected it to be the other way around. Yeah.
it all started, they went into full PR mode. Basically, this reassurance of, don't worry, Kratos is still the God of War. We promise we have so many more stories to tell with him. Please just come along for the ride with Faye. Although,
I refuse. I refuse.
given production timelines and the fact that Sony themselves called this a mainline entry, I know we've got the remakes coming, but probably we will not see a brand new Kratos game for, I don't know, 6 years or more. So that promo.
I'll be completely honest. I don't really care if they make any more God of War games after this. I could not get into God of War Ragnarok at all. I tried it, and the only praise that I can give God of War Ragnarok is whoever brought it to PC did a fantastic job at optimizing it. That is the only positive I can give to God of War Ragnarok. The optimization was good.
From them is doing a lot of work, but my favorite part of this whole thing was when Domino's UK tweeted out that a God of War game with no Kratos is like a pepperoni passion pizza with no pepperoni. Some random intern being more in line with the audience than
I support Domino's in the UK.
actual Santa Monica themselves, and instead of just ignoring it, Santa Monica fired back with, okay, thanks for the feedback, Domino's Pizza corporate account. And yes, I guess that is the best that they could do. Shortly after came the headlines defending them getting rage baited by a pizza company, and I don't see how any of this is how a confident studio behaves. You don't reassure people that hard.
I hate remakes. It's all just a replacement to good old games, replacement of good writing with agenda. Yeah, 100%. Look, I don't mind remasters provided the game is old enough to warrant a remaster. Remakes it can go either way. For the most part, I would wish they would just, make new games, even if it's a new entry to an old franchise. But like at this point in time, for example, Prototype is old enough to deserve a remaster, even a remake, because the second one was shit. I would be happy with a good remake of Prototype 1. But I don't trust that they will make a good remake if they remade it. I would trust a good remaster, not a good remake.
And fast, you don't get baited by a pizza chain over a creative decision that is supposedly working very well. Publicly
They don't have balls to make it right.
That you're disappointed and hoping people will give the game a chance. You shouldn't have to put on a brave face just because of the latest entry in your decades-long established franchise. A studio that trusts its premise and its audience just shows you the game and lets it speak for itself. And funnily enough, in the same week, we got to watch a studio do exactly that. Over at a Summer Game Fest, Shift Up announced Blade Blood Rain with a brand new lead named Evie. I think the gameplay and graphics look really incredible. I am very excited. It is looking a bit different from the first game. The combat has shifted from the Blade over to Gauntlet and Melee. The music still sounds fantastic though. And it is self-published now, not by Sony. And even though I was really sad to see that Eve is no longer the main character, the studio said that Evie is connected to Eve and that the goal is not to outdo her, but to make a character that players can connect with even more. They also mentioned that Wall looks...
I hope the parkour will be better. Okay. Again, I haven't played the first one. I still need to, so I'm not sure exactly how the parkour was in the first one. But I can imagine if you didn't like the first one's parkour, you'd hope the second one's better.
Are important, they are not everything, and they are heavily focusing on Evie's personality and improving the writing, which I think is great. So now we have got two studios, both handing you a new female lead, and this is where the whole you just hate female characters thing finally shows its hand once again, because nobody is actually against female leads. We have had 30 plus years of beloved ones, plenty of which are my favorite characters, and the lineup that people are hyped for right now is stacked with them. The demand has never been no female lead.
My favorite game of all time is a game with a female lead. Nier Automata is my favorite game of all time.
The demand is accept our female leads.
I'm playing it sometimes, character doesn't catch on clips. I can see.
But then when someone goes and creates one that doesn't quite fit into that narrative, it is, oh no, not that one. Faye is just the latest example of the whole Western AAA female character problem.
Yep.
Played by Deborah Ann Wall, an actual stunning woman.
Look at that difference. You can't tell me that people wouldn't have played the new God of War if the character looked like the chick that she's based off of. People would have played it. People would have probably loved to play it if the model looked like that.
Nobody is disagreeing with that. Even the people defending her design agree. They are sharing her real life photos going, you don't like this? See? She is gorgeous. And yes, she is. That is kind of the whole point. Even her current day photos, if you want to be super fair, when you put them next to the in-game model, there is a noticeable gap, and that gap is not on accident. Despite what
Make it ugly, feminist, yeah.
we have been told, it is not
Make it fake and gay.
A tech limit. It is not just the lighting. You can see it the second you put the two side by side. It's the same issue we've talked about on this channel 100 times already.
Sorry, lame and gay. That's the words. Make it ugly, lame and gay.
The one that only ever happens in the West. Fable, Star Wars Outlaws.
Yeah, I remember this. Again, the game would have done a lot better if they actually made her look like the actress.
Mary Jane and Spider-Man 2, the new Jean Grey and Wolverine.
I don't know what her model, the actual actress, looks like, if this is based off of an actress. Let me know if it is, because I haven't actually gone and looked at it, but she looks fucking ugly. Mystique also looks ugly.
Actually, most characters in that game. A beautiful
Yo, Papela, how's it going?
actress or just a strong original design gets run through whatever the opposite of a beauty filter is, and we get handed the result, while everyone else insists it looks no different, or it looks fine, or it is just the technology. And to be clear,
Yeah, people love to say it's the technology that look like that, but whenever they use the male actors, they look one-to-one exactly like the actor.
she's not hot enough is not my whole argument here. I am not saying every female character needs to look like a supermodel, but when it is this clearly intentional that she has been altered, that decision tells me you are either embarrassed or threatened, or you've got some other agenda, and you're indirectly saying that you do not think this character can be equally compelling and beautiful at the same time. Like, those two things cannot
Oh shit. Awesome, thanks.
possibly live in the same person. This is nothing new. Caring how a character looks is not some gross gamer thing. Everybody does this. Movie fans, show fans, romantasy readers will go to war over the casting of their book boyfriend. The whole reason I initially got into Baldur's Gate 3 was because of countless girls posting videos
You saying, where's it coming from?
of the pretty makeup and clothes that they were styling their taff
Baldur's Gate is so fucking good.
with. Pretending looks don't matter, or that it is somehow only a thing guys care about, is just dishonest. And
I hate that we went away from sex sells, because it does. Like it's a fucking given. It sells. Looking at a female characters is always going to look better than looking at attractive female characters. Is going to look better than looking at fucking ugly female characters.
it kills
Frost Runner raid. Thank you for the raid, Silas. How's it going? And how's all the raiders doing?
the conversation before it can even start. And with Faye, there has even been a clear change from her design in the previous games. Well, she's supposed to look
Wow, I did not know that she looked like that in the previous games. That actually pisses me off even more. Hey, Kini, you had to bully with kindness. Oh, fuck. Maybe a hot take, but Boulder, I hope there is a mod that makes some dialogues less. I get that. I avoid those. Like I avoid what's his name? I avoid Astorian. He's never in my party when I play boulders. So yeah.
realistic, or she's dead. It's a fantasy game. There's mythological beings all around. One of your companions is a quippy jelly cube. They have just put her in this safe, generic fantasy look that is completely forgettable next to Kratos. And it's not only her, it is the whole
Hey, fuck.
interaction between the
Hope you have a good stream, Sin. The chat feeds on loading screens. Show him plenty. I'm all good for Silas. Have a good day. I'm not playing games, so I'm not loading Syndicate today.
the quippy, inanimate companions, lack of Kratos, lack of
Oh.
Norse-specific mythology. Just this morning, I saw a tweet from Santa Monica sharing more info about the enchanted pink set of talking ribbons named Rue.
So
that will
stupid.
accompany Faye on her journey, which is exactly the tweet.
Hey,
that
Mule,
I
how's it
would
going?
do for inspo if I were creating my next Barbie.
There's the notification.
Legitimately, if I did not know Faye was an existing character,
Got to raid, yeah.
here, I would not know that this was supposed to be a God of War game. Which, even if you take the title
Yeah.
off of the cover art, it still doesn't look like a God of War game. But again, if that is not your cup of tea,
Hey, Jaded, how's it going?
female lead, so you just need to accept it, or you might just hate women. Now, flip over to Evie. A studio hands you a new female lead, and despite some people missing Eve, including me, the overwhelmingly majority of the audience who likes this game was immediately excited. And for the record, I do think Evie is super cute. It is clear
Yeah.
that they were going for an Alita type aesthetic, and as a 5'2"
I still love the Alita Battle Angel. The movie got me to go and read the old manga for Alita Battle Angel. So I love Alita Battle Angel. Tomboy supremacy, 100%.
NPC myself, I am excited that we are finally getting a short queen in the lead role. But the same crowd that was just demanding you accept Faye as your new female lead once again goes, no, not that one. It is
Yep.
just a Gooner game.
As always.
And then the real controversy, a whole wave of people calling Evie a literal child. And worse.
So
Now,
stupid.
I have seen attacks coming from all sides. The internet is up in arms.
I'm stuck in traffic, otherwise great. I know the feeling.
Journalists have already been writing articles about it, and while I do think at this point the discourse has gotten a bit out of hand, to try and be as fair as possible, I will admit that the very first shot I saw of her face, I thought she looked a little bit young.
Yeah, no, I will agree. Asmongold said the same thing. There she looks like an actual child. I 100% agree. That is not a good first shot, but everything else sort of fucking knocks that out of the water.
Younger, but looking younger and a child are two completely different things. A 20-year-old is going to look younger than a 30-year-old or even a 25-year-old. The creator also stated that they wanted Evie to be shorter and a little
Well, she's Asian. Yes, 100%.
younger than Eve, which does look to be the case. And even if you want to cherry pick that one shot of her, after watching the rest of the trailer, it is completely obvious she is an adult East Asian woman.
Yep.
Her full character model has even leaked at this point, further proving that we actually even got our first Eevee cosplay, and she
I
looks
saw
great.
that.
It is just so strange to me because petite features on an adult woman do not make her a child or childlike. A younger looking face on an adult woman does not make her a child or childlike. Pull
Yep.
up any K-pop group or K-drama and you'll see this constantly.
Everyone in Korea looks young.
This is Lisa in her early 20s, one of the biggest
That's
pop stars on the planet. Same for so many Korean stars in their early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And weirdly, we never saw this discourse over someone like Lily in the first game or Rebecca Chambers in Resident Evil, both petite young adult women. But the part that does kind of give all of this away, though, is that many of these same people tried this exact type of thing with the first Stellar Blade.
Yeah, I remember watching an interviewer go up to people and with Eve from Celebrate 1, it's like, oh no, this character looks like she's 12. You look at her face looks like a 12-year-old. Fucking stupid.
They came after Eve as hard as they possibly could. Male gaze, offensive, unrealistic. I've even seen receipts now of the time when people claimed Eve herself had a childlike face. The whole thing did not land. The game was a hit. Fans loved it, of course. In the second,
It was that interview. That interview
of
specifically.
with everybody already worked up about women in games, they were always going to come and swing even harder. And this time, the swing has shifted to the worst thing that they could think of. She's literally a child. But like I said, it is not just Evie. Eve was also problematic. To be was unrealistic. There was a time Bayonetta
To be best character, period.
was not accepted. The new Lara Croft needed dragging for wearing makeup. A fully clothed, high-collar character like Amelie from Knight's Path was just called unrealistic and tradwife porn. And that unrealistic claim gets me every single time because where was this realism crowd for something like Baldur's Gate 3? A game that I love, game of the year, but also a game where if you wanted to, you could take...
I haven't played Nier. You are missing out. Nier Automata, you don't need to play the original ones. Just play Nier Automata. It is phenomenal. It is, again, it is my #1 game of all time.
Bazel and Karlach into battle.
Yeah, Lae'zel is not attractive. Like, no. All the other chicks, yeah.
Completely booty naked with no mods required.
Yep.
Why didn't they show up for 1348?
It's because there's so much gay shit in the game.
Ex voto with a female lead in a full practical suit of medieval armor.
Yeah, no.
Because it was never about realism. It is about which women in which games are allowed to be attractive, and underneath that, it has never really been about female leads at all. It has always been, no, not that one. The second a female character threatens the narrative or the developers, she is shoved out the door, insults flying, a pawn that gets moved off the board the moment that she's inconvenient. But finally, moving away from character design, we do have to address the other elephant with God of War, the repeat pattern of male-led franchises being handed to female leads. Now, I don't know.
Yeah, that happens often lately.
It could end up being a great game that fans unite to.
Look, that does happen. Clanker in Twitch chat, yep. It happens very often where they hand over the reins to a female character. God of War, I don't see that actually happening because we are supposed to be going back to Kratos after this. And also, there's a lot of talk of his son becoming the main character, which is, again, not a female character. So God of War isn't just handing it over to a female lead, period. No, it's going to that and then back. That doesn't make it good. It's still shit.
Gather on and end up loving. I don't know the future, but even if that does happen, it is obvious.
All the Nier games are great. The franchise survives laundry. Yeah, yep. Yes, if it survives the laundry, then we'll get back to Kratos.
A lot of creative decisions with this game that at the very least are sparking a lot of backlash from their fan base. From the quippy blue cube, sparkly talking ribbons, and quirky millennial dialogue to playing as Faye herself.
Look at all of that cinematic gameplay.
At the heart of it, you've still got a beloved male-led franchise that is doing great and has been around for the last 20 years.
Okay, the gameplay doesn't look bad. I'll be honest. They've always made good gameplay.
A brand new world, they
have that cube. Fuck.
Hand her an existing one and move the original
hey Daishi.
Into the passenger.
Sorry, I wasn't reading the names.
And I think that if this was just a one-off thing, not a consistent pattern, people might not be so vocal about it. I don't know, it's hard to say because the tone is pretty different too with this one.
Yeah.
But Sony Studios just can't stop doing this. Naughty Dog killed Joel and handed you Ellie and then made you play as Abby for half of the game. Uncharted spun off.
Yeah, God of War to his wife and then back. Yes, Witcher to Geralt to Ciri. Yeah, I'm not the biggest. I don't really hate Ciri becoming the main character. I played Witcher 3, and throughout Witcher 3, that was the course of the game. That's where that was leading. I don't agree with making her a Witcher because she doesn't need to be a one. She is powerful enough as is, so that I'm not happy with. But her becoming the main character, I don't mind. Yeah, Witcher's shit. Ghost of Tsushima was shit. Uncharted. I never played the new one or the latest one. She should not be a Witcher. Exactly. She shouldn't be a Witcher, but she's fine being the main character.
Off without Nathan Drake at all, just Chloe and Nadine. Ghost of Tsushima does huge numbers, and the follow-up, Yote, is not Jin's story anymore. It is...
Gameplay might be fun, but I have to be judicious with my money, and they ain't selling me on this 100%.
Atsu's. And not Sony, but same thing with Geralt finishing his story in Witcher 3, and now Witcher 4 belongs to Ciri. Now, to be clear, I love Chloe, I love Ellie, I love Ciri, and I don't think playing as them is a bad thing, but it is about what they keep being used
Hey, Isork, how's it going?
to do and any type of discourse that follows. Replacing or sidelining a beloved protagonist, any protagonist, a man or a woman, will inevitably get pushback.
Yeah.
That is very normal. We just talked about it with Evie replacing Eve, and it even happened with something as beloved as Red Dead.
Don't forget, open seas exist. Exactly, open seas do exist.
it too. But the second it's a woman
go set sail, man.
stepping into a man's role, the conversation just ends because suddenly you're not
Good watching it work. All good, man.
allowed to ask whether it was a good creative call, whether it's still a
Make sure you don't get in shit at work.
appeals to the target audience, whether it's something that fans can rally behind, because now you hate women. And this is not specific to gaming. The same move has played out across Marvel, across Star Wars, the whole the Force is female thing, sold as being more inclusive, but it tends to land as taking something that people, mostly men, love, deciding it's problematic, and then fixing it for the modern audience. And that tells me it is not actually about telling women's stories at all. I think if that were the case, we would
Honestly, follow the example of Captain Keen, but I actually don't know his stance on it. I won't. Cool.
would probably see a lot more brand new stories and characters standing on their own. It is more about coming down on masculinity and breaking existing toys, because it really only ever runs in one direction. When is the last time you saw anyone ever take an established and very well-known female lead and swap her out for a man? The next Horizon...
That doesn't... Actually, no, that isn't true. It does act... It's happening once that I'm aware of. It's not a long franchise with Control, but Control 1 was fantastic and you played as the chick. Now in Control 2, you play as her brother. So technically, they are swapping a female main character to a male character, but it's not a long franchise.
The game is not going to be led by Erend. Lara Croft's next adventure is not going to sideline her for Winston the Butler. The Alien franchise...
They need to do that now. I want to play as Winston the Butler in the next Tomb Raider game.
...is not going to cast a man as the lead role for their next movie. Which, again, like I said, is kind of where the Stellar Blade sequel shows us another angle. Shift Up has seemingly benched Eve for a brand new lead. And while I am going to really miss her, this is completely different from the God of War situation. Evie still fits the world extremely well.
It's not a large beloved franchise, so they don't mind sacrificing it, yeah.
And is someone that the existing audience would want to play as. Despite their differences, you cannot tell me that she does not fit the existing Stellar Blade expectations. I mean, come on, they are clearly still building this game for their target audience, and they even split from Sony to do it on their own terms. And that's the part that kind of made this whole week a little funny to me. After all of the discourse started with God of War, I knew that if I was just a little patient, this argument would settle itself in record time. Enter Summer Game Fest and all of the other titles featured across Xbox and PlayStation, where it fell apart pretty quickly and we saw such a celebration for women in games across the board. Resident Evil Veronica, Final Fantasy VII Revelation, and Street Fighter VI, 1666 Amsterdam, Gundam Rogue Orbit.
That 1666 Amsterdam, I was so fucking shocked when they brought the title up and it wasn't Assassin's Creed Hex. I was 100% sure watching that entire time that was going to be Assassin's Creed.
Alien Isolation 2, Ace Combat 8, Castlevania, Belmont's Curse, Beast of Reincarnation. I'm sure there's more that I missed, but plenty of games with upcoming female leads or prominent female characters that fans are super excited for. I don't think anyone is mad that Faye exists, and I'm sure a lot of people probably like her as a character, but even if you think the game will be good, taking a beloved male protagonist and his own series and giving him the same treatment that we continue to see happen, while also tonally changing the game, and then not understanding how there could be pushback, is why we will continue to see this discourse happen.
I also heard, not too long back, that this game was written by the same chick that said that Elden Ring needs a pause button because she has a kid and that's a disability.
Players are tired of pointing at something with their own two eyes and being told that it is not happening. While gaming in general has always skewed male, God of War in particular has always leaned hard in that direction, and that is not to say that women do not enjoy this series as well, but it is not hard to understand that many fans would of course rather play as Kratos in a God of War game than his dead wife. It's kind of like a bully on the playground who has been smacking you around every day for years, and you've just been taking
the things that I want to say about oh yeah, no, I 100% understand what you're going on about. Yeah, no, I get it.
Because that's how it's gone for as long as you can remember, until one day you catch his hand and you tell him to stop hitting you, and he looks at you like you are the one that has the problem. We are not the bullies for asking the smacking to finally stop. And all of the pushback lately in general, not just Laufey or the ongoing female character debate, but mixtape, stop killing games, players voting with their wallets, tired of paying more for getting less, voicing what they think. The sheer venom that pushback always gets from journalists, the internet, or just people in the industry is exactly how you know that it's landing. They would not get this rattled if the pushback was not doing something. A AAA gaming studio would not be firing back at a pizza company's goofy tweet. And unless these companies can fully support themselves on this modern audience that they are constantly seeking, until
there's no such thing actually as a modern audience because they don't buy shit.
they remember what and who they are building for, this will just keep happening over and over again. All right, if you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for being here. I know this one was a little bit more critical, but I don't want the take.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Modern audience, they don't buy these games. They don't care for them. They're making games for people that will not buy their games because they don't play games. Their audience is the ones they're alienating, and their audience won't play the games because of this shit. Thanks, guys, for watching. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.